Hello. I'm a little laggy for some weird reason. This is going to be a funny start to our video today. So for those on Zoom, you can't see me, but my camera for the YouTube screen was like weird. So that's what that was about. Anyways, okay. All right, everybody, welcome to the first Nervous Ghost. Maybe it's Zoom doing it. Can you hear me now? Okay, that was weird. I'm frozen again. What's going on? Okay, you know what? I'm just going to do it without the video. You don't need to see me. Okay, everybody. I'm going to do it this way. Which button is it? Bam. All right. Ooh, Ian, you want to go set? Oh, I'm just kidding. Welcome to our first open mic of 2026. This is Nervous Ghost Press, the year of the ghost. Ooh, someone just walked into Zoom. Okay, don't say anything on Zoom. I want to see who it is. I'm always distracted. Oh, it's Marcus. What's up, Marcus? Okay, Marcus, don't say anything, but you're here. Use the chat box if you want to chat. Oh, hell yeah. All right, so I'm going to put the camera back. Oh, maybe it's because I had the camera on. No, that's not. I'm just talking to myself. You know, the cool thing about being the boss is I can do all this stuff, right, Ian? Ian says yes. All right, so I'm going to talk every once in a while. I'll see if the camera is working. But so Nervous Ghost Press, we're a 501c3 arts advocacy organization about 12-ish miles from downtown L.A., and our mission is to make arts accessible for those who need it when they need it, however they need it. So we have a community arts workspace. That's where we are. You can see it on the screen. Our guest MC today is going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, hopefully. It's all exciting things. And if you are someone out there who needs a place to make art, write, sing, record, dance, choreograph, whatever it is, then this space is yours. And it's free, so you can use it however you need to. Just let me know so I'm here. I'm going to try and make this work again. 1 second. I'm still frozen. It's so weird. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to change it to this video. Maybe I could switch the cameras. Look at that. Ooh, it's backwards. Okay, so that works. If this is your first time tuning in and watching it at some point, it's going to be kind of funny. It usually doesn't freeze like that, but I thought that. Anyways, all right, let's see. Oh, there I am. See, now it's working. It doesn't make any sense. So weird. Oh, nope. Oh, it's going to do. I bet it's going to do the thing with the microphone again. Doesn't matter. Anyways, so our workspace is to work, to hang out, to write, to read, to spend time and engage with art. It's also an art gallery, a recording studio. So whatever you need, again, just email me. I always say yes. Our Arts Night events are fun. I just recently updated our camera system. So those who haven't been here in a couple months, you can see the new camera system. And it's awesome. They all said it. I have it. It's proof. There are testimonies. Nobody can say otherwise. Otherwise, you're a liar. And we have painting supplies. So you can come in and paint whatever you want. It's yours. Take it home. There's a piece of cardboard in the corner that anybody can paint if you want it, because it was left here once. I don't want it. I don't need it. Paint on it. It's really fun. It's really awesome. And during the Arts Nights is where we are today. We have our open mic that's live streamed, so you can join us from Zoom, from online, from wherever you are, also in person if you're in the area. Tamika, can you hear me again? It cut out. I guess I'm just gonna I'm gonna keep my camera off then all day. Anyways, so it's a great way to engage with artists and each other. Low stakes. It's you. And so everybody who performs today, when you have the microphone, it's your day. Talk about what you want, how you want your art, and whatever makes you move. We have a community guest MC program, which is a way to have anybody be the MC. It gets your voice out there, and I like it because it gives me a break, which is good today since the camera thing isn't working, and it's going to be our community guest MC out there, so I get to just kind of chillax. I'm going to share a a new aspect of our Connect with Us screen, and I gotta get. We were talking today about like business and my business brain that doesn't exist, but it's on your screen now. Connect with us, and there's a QR code to our Support Us page where you can donate, since we are a charity, an official California charity. But if you're like me and you don't like giving all these, financial institutions percentages, you just write me a check. I accept checks in the 10 digits and the 7 digits, but also in the anything. So I've been told I'm supposed to ask. I'm trying to buy more art supplies, and since I'm not supposed to fund things myself, go ahead and help out. I guess this is the best way I could ask. It's terrible. I feel gross right now, Ian. This is horrible. Can't believe you made me do this. But anyways, connect with us. Social media, Nervous Ghost Press, Nervous Ghost, our Blue Sky, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, all over, email. And I always reply, always reach out. I'm always available to anybody that needs us ever and always. You also get a cool donation receipt that I designed because it's official, just in case that matters. A quick update on our journal, The Waiting Room, Volume 2. Everything is going. We are in design and editing mode, which is going to be really fun. That's going to be out soon, hopefully. Our books are going great. The novel and the poetry show will be out soon. I want more events and workshops this year, so reach out if you want to host a workshop. If you're someone who has reading today and you want to have your own personal event, we can set you up with your own personal event. I think that would be really cool. Hint, hint, anybody on Zoom or in person, personal, your event, you control it. It's all about you. I think that would be fantastic. I can make you a cool graphic and everything. That gives me something to do. Also fundraisers. All right, so before I introduce our community guest MC, no, I'm not going to read my poem yet until I figure out this camera thing. And if it works, it works. Otherwise, I won't read it because you won't be able to see me, and that's weird. But you could just pretend it's a really good poem. So I'm going to introduce our community guest MC today. And so like I said before, it's a great way to get out there, put yourself out there, get your voice into the crowd, into the world. There's so much power in our voices, and there's so much power in being able to speak it and speak all the words into existence. And so what's great about today's MC is we are also unveiling our next gallery exhibit, which is on your screen now, which is a California Dream color graded photography across SoCal streets. And it's really cool. So you're going to see a glimpse of it, which you had seen already from the camera view, but there's so much more, and it's going to be great. And buy all the photos, put it in your offices, put it in your houses. They're all for sale. Every dollar goes to me. No, I'm just kidding. Every dollar goes to the photographer. I take nothing. I don't want anything. I am an uncompensated CEO always, which people tell me is terrible, but I say, fuck them, right? It's about the art. And so our guest MC today is the one and only, super awesome, wears cool hats, Trucker Sushi. Okay, don't talk yet. Don't talk yet. Hold on. I'm remembering all the buttons. Wait a minute. All right, there we go. Now you can talk.
Thank you, Matt. All right, should we get started?
Oh, hold on. What microphone are you on? The blue one.
Test.
One second. Oh, no, wait. You're good. I'm messing myself up.
All right. All right, yeah. Nice to meet y'all. Thanks for coming. I'm Trucker Sushi. I'm a photographer and writer based out of Los Angeles. Matt mentioned actually cool hats. So the hat I'm wearing tonight is from a restaurant in Los Feliz called Mirate. Y'all should check it out. I love mezcal, and that's why I go there. They have a great selection, but it is dry January, so I haven't been there in a while. Okay, so before I start calling out names, I guess I'll read one of my poems, and I don't really have a theme for tonight or anything like that, but I've been listening to this book by Chuck Klosterman. It's called The 90s, and it talks a lot about, the culture of the 90s, movies, music, how people were, and so it got me in kind of a nostalgic mood. If you can't tell, I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, and I wrote this particular poem when I was 17. I had just graduated high school, and I decided before going to college that I wanted to spend some time on my own and do like see the country. So I rented a van with a bunch of friends, and we drove around for the year. And so this is a poem from way back then. It's called American Prayer. To that row of Lego figures along the window of your trailer in Waco, the last thing I saw before I left. To that guitar with a cross carved into it behind the counter at a Decatur gas station. To the can of soda I stole because I was broke. To the Fight Club DVD in Greg's minivan where we stashed our weed while driving out of Durango. We never believed him about the autograph. To my mother in Elmhurst, who leaves a soap opera on while she cooks, I already broke the spotted vase. I'm sorry, I swept it up last week before leaving. To that Chicago high school where some of us graduated, to eights and drive-bys, and others to Boy Meets World reruns, my favorite lighter is probably still inside desk 17. To everything that means something to someone and is just loud music to everyone else, may God deliver us in our fast cars home safely tonight. Thank you. All right. Okay. If y'all are ready, I'm going to start calling up people. So first, let's see. Actually, what is Ian doing? Ian, you want to come up here?
Alright, a little chant. Thanks. Man, I really thought Matt was going to be the first one tonight, so, I tried disappearing in the back, but you still called on me. What's up? No, technology's doing great. Alright, today. Usually sharing stuff I've been reading, and I'm going to do that as always. All right, so I have never really dove into like the Insta poets, and I always tend to read classical poetry because I just go to used bookstores and buy the stuff that's like $3, and it's always something from somebody who's been dead for 100 years or 50 years or whatever. But lately I've been finding profiles of like much younger people that I do enjoy. And there was the first person that I started liking on Instagram is this girl named Josie Balka from Canada. And she has this like sound insulated closet, and she just looks into the camera, delivers her poetry very straightforward. But there's like this softness, like there's this intense emotion to everything she's relaying. And it makes me feel like a connection to the stranger, because it's like, oh, she sees things like I see things. She feels things like I feel. And it made me buy her book. And I think she's, maybe 20s or something. And I've loved it. And something that she struggles with that I also struggle with is being someone who moved so far away from home, who only gets to see people a couple times a year. We talked a little bit about that earlier. I think I've mentioned that at other open mic nights, but it's a tough thing for me. So there's this one piece in here that she wrote that stuck with me and did make me emotional then. I probably won't right now, but it was a good one. So this, again, is Josie Balka, Balka. I know one of these days I'm going to regret moving far away, and it'll be an inevitable and deeply painful regret that I would feel anyway, no matter what I chose, because I think as life goes on, you are bound to feel grief, and it will always be associated with regret. Wishing you spent more time with the people you love, all the birthdays I didn't come home for, and the Christmases I said I would never dare to miss. But I've missed a few now, haven't I? I'm going to regret this distance. I will. I already do. It's heavy in my throat when I leave my childhood room to head to the airport, and it's in the pit of my stomach when I sit across from my high school friends and realize that we are all adults now. And the way life has changed us between this visit and the last one is far more obvious than it would be if I were around more often, but I'm not. So now I face the cold, lonely moments before I fall asleep at night, when I picture the life and friends and family I left behind. And I know exactly where the emptiness comes from. I know exactly the source of the regret, but had I stayed, I worry I would feel something was missing, and I'd never have figured out what it was. And in ways, I've won, because I call two places home. But in ways, I've lost, because I cannot be in both of them at once. It's hard to not always feel like a part of you is missing, no matter where you are. Being far away, the ultimate sacrifice as well as the ultimate journey. And I will call with the bad news that I will not be home for Christmas this year once again. But in turn, I am now able to be home for Christmas. It'll just be this home instead of that one. And in my head, it will never feel right or make sense, but it'll be the way it is. Yeah, that was a good one. And then the freezing. Awesome. And then this is just one other one. I don't know if anybody uses reading apps, but I joined Fable, which I never heard of, but somebody recommended to me. And then there's like reading groups that you can join within it for different things. So I joined some poetry one, and they were reading some like nature mixed with childhood rhyme type book. And this is just one that stood out to me. It's George Eliot. And this one was called Count the Day Lost. If you sit down at set of sun and count the acts that you have done, and counting find one self-denying deed, one word that eased the heart of him who heard, one glance most kind that fell like sunshine where it went, then you may count that day well spent. But if, through all the livelong day, you've cheered no heart by yea or nay, if through it all you've nothing done that you can trace, that brought the sunshine to one face, no act most small, that helped some soul and nothing cost, then count that day as worse than lost. All right, I'll do a couple of mine real quick here. These are earlier ones, which shout out for doing one from the high school, like teenage years. Like I look at these older ones, I'm like, oh, I cringe so much. It kind of sucks, but like it's still a window to you, so whatever. This one is called The Day's Cascade. Hey, buddy. No, is it working? Was it freezing? No, you're good. Cool. All right. The Day's Cascade. With each current rising, glinting in the sun, just returned to the deep, and this new day is already done. But to be alive on each day's crest, brimming with intention and full of joy, these moments are ours to savor, and yet we lose them in time's incessant void. For in the depths of the ocean, there's not an end in sight. These moments will be never ending, you say, for all you've ever seen is day turn to night. But there will come a day when the wave rides high and the sun burns bright. Suddenly a shore will then appear, with our end suddenly nigh. Some of us will fade, our current slowly receding until we're no more, while some of us will leave with no warning, in a single moment crashed ashore. The shore is inevitable, remember that while in the depths. Just never stop rising and let that light reach your crest. All right, and then short one here on those missed friends. It's called There Are Few Joys Without Friends. Any day without companionship seems an opportunity passed by for sharing in laughter or writhing in pain, venting our trials and frustrations just to get through the mundane. There's not a happy memory that exists from all those I can recall that wasn't made more special by the presence of those I love. So treasure each friend, however much they'll allow, for some day fairly near will be in a box under clouds. That's it. Thank you, everybody.
No, I'm still. Oh, we'll find out if it works. I think I got it to work. We'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna talk for like 2 minutes, just in case. And if it freezes again, then we know it freezes. And what I fixed didn't fix. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about community, just as a buffer, and then if it doesn't freeze, then I will read my poem. So thank you, Ian, for sharing work and always being here. Ian has, the first time we met, I don't remember the first time we met. It was probably cool, like for Ian. anyway. But so when people email me and say, they're going to show up, I safely, maybe not safely, incorrectly assume that means you're going to read. And I've done this a lot, but also it's just a cool thing is I'm like, all right, up next is Ian. Yeah, oh my gosh. And he's like, oh shit, I didn't know I was going to read. But he has become one of the coolest people, helpful always. He's real cheesy. But if I need help or I need someone in my corner, Ian shows up, and it's really cool. And I'm also like, it's cool to know that Ian has me as a friend, and it's also cool to know that I have Ian as a friend, but more so than me as Ian's friend, because I don't get to be my friend, and it's an experience that I'll never get to understand. Am I still okay? I'm still good. It's weird. Oh, all right. So I think it's safe. So I wrote this poem yesterday. And I told Ian I'm going to write a new poem. And I had sometimes what my process is, I'll have an idea and then I'll write it on my arm, like the title of it or a line that I think of. I'll put it on a napkin, put it in my pocket. It doesn't always turn into something, but sometimes it does. And my process these days, just with a lot of the press stuff, is I used to think of arbitrary dates. Like, I got to get it done by this date. This book has to be out by February, whatever. This art installation that we have with Trucker Sushi needs to be done by January 17th. I think that was our previous date. And I realized over the last couple of years is it'll get done when it gets done, because I'd rather it be something that I'm happy with. I'd rather it be something that you're happy with, that the authors are happy with, instead of just trying to fit a deadline. And that's one of the greatest things about being not in charge. It makes me sound like an asshole, but it's true, is that we can say, I don't care about the date. I want you to be happy and ready and fulfilled with what we're doing. And I met with a potential intern for my school program that we were talking with, and I'm like, why are you here? They're like, well, I need to fulfill they have an intern requirement. And I was like, do you want to just fulfill your requirement, or do you want to fulfill your requirement while doing something fulfilling at the same time? And that's kind of my approach with a lot of our art stuff is I don't want just a book to be released. I want it to be something that the editors are proud of, because they're the ones who made the decision. They're the ones who are going to design it, format it, and so on. I have vetoed 0 decisions. And when we have an art exhibit, I want the artist to say, this is my exhibit. I put the work up. Matt helped me because he's really good at eyeballing things, and his eye for detail is unmatched, right? That's not my words, just I'm letting you know. They said that today. It's true. Both of them. Maybe? No, you can't see me, but I'm looking at you. But I want it to be you and yours and your voice. And my entire philosophy as a professor, as an artist, as a writer, as everything is I want you to know that it's yours and to be happy. And so this poem, I wrote it yesterday. I was feeling it, then I edited a bunch. But the cool thing about these open mics is they can be workshops, and you can give feedback. If any of you are working on new pieces, again, when your microphone, when it's your turn, you could say, hey, this is a new piece. Everybody watching, everybody that's gonna watch, and the audience here in person, give me feedback. And it's a fantastic community. But anyways, I'll read this one. Then you won't hear from me much unless Trucker Sushi needs a break. This poem is called A Restful Soul. And it doesn't rhyme because Ian doesn't like when my poems rhyme. I say it all the time. I'm going to be old the next time you see me. Life will have done its best in vain, because it knows what I am. What you saw every single day. Still waiting till I see it. One day, sure. There's a place, they say, where the bad shit don't find you. Watches looking but never seeing. Hearing what it thinks it needs, hoping. We never learned the truth, but we've been learned. You and me driving back and forth. You can't paint for shit. I hate it now. It's hard to hate things you're good at. Man, you should see me. Some say you can. I don't believe it. Not these days. No more. Pour another one for the homies. I say it all the time. Let them breathe. Let them live. Let them be. Just let them be. It's all about voice, you know. Tone, inflection, and all that shit. Upward, downward, forward, and backward. None of it ever makes sense, does it? Like Faustus, the clock strikes time to lament. But not me. Not today. Remember that song you made? Yeah, I don't. Been racking my fucking brain, but it just ain't there. Whiskey doesn't help, like the kind I saved you from. That was easy. I'll save you from that shit all day. Pour me another one. I don't dance much, but bro, fuck, you should have seen me. Swans would be envious with their fucking stupid ass long necks. Punks of the pond, I'm graceful as shit. Remember when I showed you how to talk to girls? Fuck, that was easy too. The hard shit was easy. What's the brain do? That kind of rhymed, but whatever. I watched some guy cry today, made me feel sick. The problem wasn't him though, was it? That one's mine, you remember? That one's mine. Awareness is a hell of a drug. Burrows its way deep into your fucking spine. I ain't been no one's hero before. I'm not good at it. Just be there, right? We're supposed to talk the right way. Their words, their tone. Well, you know what? Fuck them. Come at me. Ain't nothing they can do worse. A restful soul is a happy one. Lost in laughs and smiles, waiting for the clouds to appear and rain down heavy, wilting. A restful soul is a needed one. Quiets the mind when too many vibrations get in the way. Ain't no rest, dreaming's not the same. You can be at rest in any in movement. The science is wrong. It hasn't done the work. Felt the blade, the cold paper is easy. Coffins are heavy. Rope burns to remember. Chemical taste to try and forget. Nothing works. Feel it flow. Feel the flow through you, by you. I've been doing a real good job of keeping quiet. Almost fucked it up. A restful soul is a needed one. But what's necessary ain't the same. A restful soul or your hasty one. I take that one every day. And that is a restful soul. And so, I hope that when everybody and anyone out there, if you need an outlet, if you need a place to share your work where there are no opinions minus opinions in our heads, because they always exist in our heads, but you judge quietly. Isn't that what they say? Like judge in silence. I don't know. Do people say that? Anyways, I judge out loud, unfortunately. But email me, sign up. We're going to have an event in the middle of February. The next one is whenever it is. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy for our guest MC and everyone. It's going to be a fantastic event. Ian opened us up because I was being illiterate with the technology that I've been doing for like 3 years in a row. But it's working now. So anyways, Trucker Sushi, take over. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Matt. You could probably teach me a thing or two about meter. That was fantastic. All right. Also one thing, Ian, you were talking about, leaving home. And I've left home quite a few times. So I immigrated to this country when I was 3. I lived in Texas for a long time, moved to Midwest to go to high school, then left to go to college. And, as a first generation college student, so it was kind of it was a conversation with my parents on like what leaving means and, like what, how often I'll be back and if I'll change, all those things. And actually when I was in college, I didn't major in creative writing, but I did take a few creative writing classes. And in my first class, which I took as a gen ed, was Intro to Poetry. And in that class, I was like, I don't care about poetry. I write it here and there, but I'm not, I don't take it seriously. And we read a book in that class, and that book got, took poetry to the next level for me. And it was, this is something I want to make a normal thing in my life. And that book was Dancing in Odessa by Eli Kaminsky. And that is a book. Eli Kaminsky is a Ukrainian poet, and that book is about his experience leaving Ukraine during the war and everything he left behind. And so this, before I go to the next person, I'm going to read a poem, the headline poem from that book, which is called Dancing in Odessa. So here it is. We live north of the future. Days opened, letters with a child's signature, a raspberry, a page of sky. My grandmother threw tomatoes from her balcony. She pulled imagination like a blanket over my head. I painted my mother's face. She understood loneliness, hid the dead in the earth like partisans. The night undressed us. I counted its pulse. My mother danced. She filled the past with peaches, casseroles. At this, my doctor laughed. His granddaughter touched my eyelid. I kissed the back of her knee. The city trembled, a ghost ship setting sail. And my classmate invented 20 names for Jew. He was an angel. He had no name. We wrestled, yes. My grandfathers fought the German tanks on tractors. I kept a suitcase full of Brodsky's poems. The city trembled, a ghost ship setting sail. At night I woke to whisper, yes, we lived. We lived, yes. Don't say it was a dream. At the local factory, my father took a handful of snow and put it in my mouth. The son began a routine narration, whitening their bodies. Mother, father dancing, moving as the darkness spoke behind them. It was April. The sun washed the balconies. April. I retell the story. The light etches into my hand. Little book, go to the city without me. Awesome. All right, let's get Tamika up here.
All right, so we have our first Zoom person. If you're ready, you don't have to be ready. All right, once. Yeah. Do you want me to say some stuff first and kind of like get you in there? There we go. All right, so before we introduce the first Zoom person, sometimes we used to have Q&As at the very end, and it was tough to extract questions and answers from people. But I think I forgot to say this earlier because I was, oh man, my mind was like melting because of the audio stuff. Oh, I'm distracted with cables. It doesn't. If anybody watching or anybody here or any of our speakers has questions for each other, kind of your process, your artistic process, who are you, what's going on, we can interject every once in a while, and Trucker Sushi can kind of navigate these, but we can have just a cool conversation. That's what I like. I don't like these very structured question and answer things, but if there are questions, we can talk about it, get people involved, and just make it a very fluid kind of event instead of saying, all right, Tamika, it's your turn, shut up, answer question. It's like, geez, it's just, it feels very fake. But all right, so our next speaker is on Zoom, and I'm going to introduce him as much as I know about him, which is nothing, so you don't really get an introduction, I suppose. But from Virginia, yes, joining us from Virginia, which is fantastic. That's so cool. And it's snowing and gross is what I understand. And I've wanted to see it snow, but everyone tells me it's not cool for after the 10 minutes. But please, everybody, welcome on Zoom, Tamika.
Thank you for the introduction. Yes, I'm from Virginia. I am really nervous. I wrote this poem a while ago, but I wasn't satisfied with it, so I kind of revamped it, I guess. It's a little dark, so I'm a little nervous to read it, but yeah, I'm gonna read it anyway. So it's called Life's Fee to Happiness. And I apologize for the rhyming. Okay. I'm not dying. I'm exhausted from surviving. Still asking why I'm alive, but not thriving. My body keeps the score of games I never agreed to play. I relive the awful rules each and every day. Sleep costs too much. Joy asks questions that I dodge. Confessions and sadness is a blur which thickens my fog. They say happiness is a mindset, so tell me why my mind still flinches. When nothing's reaching for me, yet my heart clenches, and insanity inches away, and it sits in the darkness, and I let the insanity play. I keep hearing life is what you make it. I made it through abuse. I made it through addiction. I made it through some hard nights. Nights that whispered, not waking up were my rights. Apparently, that was only the down payment, a deposit for a nightmare in the basement. Because every time I reach for peace, something wants proof. Proof I deserve it, proof I'm healed enough, proof I'm strong, proof I'm resilient, proof I'm tough, proof I won't break the way everything else broke me. Because I paid in hypervigilance, I paid in pretending I'm fine, I paid a double fee. Driving me crazy, it never left my mind. I was never able to rest. The fact is, I paid a premium in pretending just to pass my family's test. They say happiness is free if you want it bad enough, but they don't talk about the stuff that keeps you in cuffs. So I call that definition of happiness a bluff because no one talks about the interest, how it weighs, and the past compounds. Charging late fees for pain I didn't choose, but somehow still have to live around. They tell me to forgive, to let it go, to grow. They say to smile and to not let the sadness show. However, the amount of damage they've done, they don't have to pay for their debt. They don't think twice or have to live their life full of regret. So I stay bankrupt, stuck, never fully able to develop. Engraved in my mind are the memories of an abused kid. I'm still waiting for the day when they'll pay for what they did. Although it may never come, I hope I have the means to heal because life's fee to happiness I can't afford, so I have to steal. In order to deal with this life, I will have to live in debt. And I'm tired and exhausted that I haven't paid my dues yet. If life ever collects what I never earned, well, if life ever collects what it never earned, then my suffering is the interest that will only return. I'm a receipt for all the damage that has been done, proof that this world charges unfairly. They charge the wounded one. I'm what's left when they let the one who harmed you walk free. The balance was due, so they billed me. I am proof that survival comes at a price, which is too much to handle. Although I am broke, I am I am the unpaid invoice life refuses to cancel. No profit in the truth because of fear, the pain I never spoke. No justice ever came, and the balance of trauma never broke. So yeah, if anyone would like to give me any suggestions or anything, because I just wrote that, and I'm sorry for like stumbling over it because my dog is attacking my feet. But anyway, thank you for letting me share.
And I mean, one thing Matt said earlier is like, one of the purposes of this mic is to bring poetry to people when they need it. And poetry's helped me get through a ton of really tough things in my life. And I think, ironically, one of the toughest things was actually, when I moved out here, my life got a lot nicer. And, like, I grew up in a kind of a difficult neighborhood, didn't have much money. And then when things got nicer, I had no idea how to deal with it. And I think, Tamika, you talked a little bit about some of this, but like it kind of, you can't just shake off how, hyper vigilant or wound up you felt, in those situations. Once things get nicer, you kind of stay in that state of mind. And one of the poems that really helped me get through a lot in my life, and also kind of helped me like appreciate the smaller things and kind of honestly learn to relax, was this poem by Marie Howe. It was called "What the Living Do." So before I go to the next person, I'm gonna read this one out loud. What the Living Do. Johnny, the kitchen sink has been clogged for days. Some utensil probably fell down there, and the Drano won't work but smells dangerous, and the crusty dishes have piled up, waiting for the plumber I still haven't called. This is the everyday we spoke of. It's winter again. The sky is a deep, headstrong blue, and the sunlight pours through the open living room windows because the heat's on too high in here and I can't turn it off. For weeks now, driving or dropping a bag of groceries in the street, the bag breaking, I've been thinking, this is what the living do. And yesterday, hurrying along the wobbly bricks in the Cambridge sidewalk, spilling my coffee down my wrist and sleeve, I thought it again and again later when buying a hairbrush that this is it. Parking, slamming the car door shut in the cold, what you call that yearning, what you finally gave up. We want the spring to come, we want the winter to pass, we want whoever to call or not call, a letter, a kiss. We want more and then more of it. But there are moments, walking, when I catch a glimpse of myself in the window glass, say the window of the corner video store, and I am gripped by a cherishing so deep for my own blowing hair, my chapped face, the unbuttoned coat, and I am speechless. I am living, and I remember you. Okay. All right. Next up, Julia.
Hey everyone. I'm just gonna read 2 poems, maybe do a song. We'll see how I feel after 2 poems. Quiet contemplation, interrupted by the tap of a swaying tree branch that drops formalities at the shutter. Exposed trunks are beaten to a pulp, but the paper never comes. As a California poppy opens, the window sweats a cool drop of morning dew over the chilled white windowsill. Ice forms. Whoosh, drip, blow, 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 blow. The shot too loud that eardrums burst. The bullet cuts, ripping close in flesh. The buzzing noise of a soundless ring. Nothing heard. Only seen through the dusty window screen, only felt by the memory of sound. Sour visions in a bitter world, breaking the glass, shattering, tearing the tear of the tear of this timeless tea. Will the warmth of the day eventually melt the ice that has shut the window closed? Thank you. And here goes another one. So I started this one when I was at UCLA, when I was a student there. And it was just, one of the gardeners was just kind of cleaning around where I was. I was kind of writing poetry between classes, like really trying not to get my work done. And so it's called Between Classes. So it's a little Spanish and English, so try to fill in the blank if you don't speak Spanish. Sentada beside the shrubs, con libro medio usado y libreta nueva, I attempt to theorize, poeticize. While you water, dig, and plant, I distract, attract, create the abstract from tangible hands. The noun of your presence analyzed. I write, hands like my father who made furniture, both you and he like Senju. Followed with, noticing you notice the leaves dull green, sharing the same plane of indigo skies outlined by waves of green discoloration. On the west, the sun sets. Trabajando on the west side, I have come to understand the eclipse, the world between poverty and overindulgence. The current of these opposing forces crash against the shore of my reality. This variation of truths offers a refreshing salpique. Tu cabello castaño cae sobre tu rostro. Refleja la luz del sol, reminding me of the mudslides en Villanueva durante el invierno. Your silhouette forms an uneven shadow on the backdrop of bushes that I just trimmed. Sé que me ves, pero ¿me entiendes? Porque mirar no es ver, y ver no es entender. Without the water, ¿quién soy? Si quieres saber, te digo. Soy el padre, el hermano, la tortuga y el conejo. Soy la sombra en el asfalto y el sol que quiebra, nube blanca. El maestro y el jardinero. La luna influencial y el árbol derivado. La mirada fija y el reflejo empanado. Estamos entre clases. Los dos venturing through dual consciousness. And even though we're separados por edad, profesión y educación, los dos caminamos con el espíritu de nuestros antepasados. A nuestro lado, destinos atados a estos mismos pasos de esta misma universidad. Thank you. And I guess I could play my song if I remember the chords. It's just like 2 minutes. I really hope I remember the chords. If I don't, oh well. So this song is about migration. Migrations as old as time. And, you know, people try to demonize it. It's called Town to Town. It all seems so surreal. They're going town to town in the search of a home I've never known before. Passing by, feeling more and more like the scattered seeds of a dandelion. So I'm laying the night with my eyes open wide, a deep longing for the home left behind, but it's gone. So I have to let it go and find a new home. Trudging in the heat, with open blisters on my heart and feet, through mountains and lakes, rivers and mistakes. I'm praying to God to have whatever it takes. So I'm laying at night with my eyes open wide, a deep longing for the home left behind, but it's gone. So I have to let it go and find a way home. It all seems so surreal. They're going town to town. Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. The poetry and the music. Makes me wish I could sing. Okay. All right. Let me see. I think I'll maybe read one of mine, and then we'll call the next person up. So, what have I been writing about these days? All right. All right. I guess this one is somewhat relevant to the current political climate. It's called "I Can Hear." while outside the tech oligarchs inherit the democracy, insist that Mars is the next frontier, that hunger and healthcare are so last year, and instead we must focus on the AI avatars, the quantum computers, and the market, the glorious market. If you watch it for long enough, then you too can feel full. Thank you. All right. Let's get Emcee up here.
Okay, sorry. Hello. Hello. My name's my name's Emcee. Today I'm going to be performing 2 songs. So yeah. I'll start off with one that is from my favorite artist called Sir Chloe. So yeah. It's called Passenger. Oh, sorry. I know, I don't remember everything. My passenger, you take away my sleep. I smoke my cigarettes and gasoline. Try, there's no relief, there's no relief. I know I don't remember everything. My passenger, you take away my sleep. I smoke my cigarettes and gasoline. I try, there's no relief, there's no relief. So thank you. That's from my favorite artist. Yeah, and then I also wanted to do one of my own songs. I'm hoping my band says yes to this. I hope they say yes to doing this song because I really want to do this song. So let's see how it goes. Okay. Hope you guys like it. It's called Happy Place. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm shy. Okay. Problems turn the world round, turn me upside down away. Problems make their own mistakes every single day away. I wanna live, I wanna love, wanna find a happy place, somewhere I can stay. Combat with their armed force, all these cases of remorse. Stalkers, so you wanna talk? Well, give it all you got. Torn. I wanna live, I wanna love, wanna find a happy place, somewhere I can stay. So I guess that's all I have so far. We'll see if it goes to a longer song. But yeah, I just wanted to share it with you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, that was great. I love the melody on that second song. What was that first song you mentioned?
Passenger by Sir Chloe.
Oh, nice. What made you play that song?
That's another song that I'm doing with my band. So we just played it yesterday, practiced it yesterday, and then I'm just thinking, oh, I like this song because I've loved this artist ever since middle school. So I'm into that song right now. So I'm like, I want to go share it with open mic. So.
Oh, it's fantastic. Sweet. Yeah, it's actually gave me a little bit of like Steven Wilson. I don't know if you listen to him, but you should. Actually, it's funny. On the way here, it was beautiful outside in the afternoon, and I was playing. I decided I was gonna play Nickelback, and it was like yesterday. I heard some guy drove down my street like with the top down, just blasting like "Photograph" by Nickelback, and I was like, you know what? This was the permission I needed to go back to that part of my music library. But yeah, you reminded me of all those good early 2000s songs, so thank you. All right. Next up, let's do Marcus.
Thank you, everyone. Hope you can hear me okay. Yes, yes. Thumbs up. Okay. All right,
Yes.
cool. So I wrote this where all decent poetry can be written at the laundromat while I was waiting for my clothes to dry. It's probably not that good, but I was just kind of doodling around and I wanted to have something to read. I don't mind sharing my work with people that I've never met before. I've known Matthew for a while. He's becoming a good friend. But I was writing about like the brevity of life. So Emily Dickinson, I think she said, "Tell the truth, but tell it slant." So while I'm waiting for my clothes to dry, I'm like, my life is kind of like that. It's like a vapor, like a breath. It's very short. And so I'm kind of writing along those lines, and I think I've made it clear in previous readings that I'm a Christian. And so, like, I will definitely end with like usually a theme about my faith, or it'll be wrapped up in there and pretty much everything that I write. So, just kind of spoiler alert there, but I'll read it. It's very short. Okay. Because my clothes didn't take that long to dry. Okay. My words mediocre, my thoughts all small, my world a steeple where I must crawl. And when I've exhausted ink and pen, I'll smile once more and greet my end. For what is life but a borrowed page, a temporal act on a broken stage? Yet a single tune gives birth to song as the choir meets to sing along. Before I return to dust and ground, oh, may I then in him be found. And if this day I meet my death, I'll praise him with my final breath. That's it. I'm a former alcoholic for 17 years. And, like everyone has a different story if you're a person of faith. But I actually went to see an eye doctor because I couldn't see my computer screen really well. And the optometrist said that, well, you need to go to the emergency room. It looks like you have a brain tumor. My first thought is like, not necessarily about death, but like, what happens after I die? Like, if there is a heaven, I know I'm not going because like I'm living such a life of debauchery and selfishness and drunkenness, and so I don't have a brain tumor. I have a rare eye condition, and I did lose some vision being treated for it. But that reminded me of the brevity of life and the fact that if there is a God, and I now believe that there is, I would stand before him. And what am I going to say to him? Like, I've lived for myself. And we all have a story of pain and of suffering and of difficulty and hardship and of things that we wish could have gone a different way. And that was true of me too. Some of my wounds were self-inflicted, but on July 8th, 2012, I prayed a rather broken prayer. I don't even think I knew how to pray because I didn't grow up in a Christian home. But I just said, Lord, I don't know. I don't really know you, and I don't want to be in charge of my life anymore. Like, would you please help me? Like, I was really steeped in alcoholism. And he did. And he taught me who he was and who I am and what my purpose here is. And it's not necessarily to write poems, but really it's to just share with people, anyone willing to listen, or in this case, maybe forced to listen, on who he is in my life and what he's done. He's cleaned me. I'm no longer an alcoholic. I don't identify as that anymore. I actually identify as a son and a child of God. And I have a peace that now surpasses understanding, a joy that can't be taken away. And I share that in ministry. You see behind me, I've got like a jail cell. I minister as one of the chaplains at the men's central jail, and I bring a similar message, same message really, to them if they're willing to listen. So thank you for your time today. I really appreciate you. I love this group. I love like-minded people who want to express themselves with courage, with transparency. So thank you for the opportunity again. As always, Matthew, it's great to be here. And I do have to leave right now to rehearse for some singing tomorrow in my church. So I don't want to bungle that. But thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate you. Have a great night.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. You know, one thing Marcus talked about, which is purpose and identity, and I feel like one of the things that definitely helped a lot in my life was having parents when I was young, taught me how to, have a solid identity, not be peer pressured into things, and have a clear sense of purpose whenever you do, whatever way you live your life. So I moved a lot, but everywhere I go, it's just a change of scenery if you know who you are, right? So This is a poem I wrote when I moved to LA a few years back. And before that, I was out in the Inland Empire, and before that, I was out in the Midwest. But it's been a few years now. And I promise it's not a super depressing one. It's called a Plastic Jason Voorhees Mask. When you're a kid, you think movie blood is made of ketchup. But now, turning 30, drinking at a dive bar in Hollywood, I hear the guy next to me yapping about how movie blood is mostly corn syrup, food coloring, dishwashing soap. The dishwashing soap helps give it the right viscosity. The thin-faced actress hopeful sitting beside him is nodding, fixing her halter top, pulling up her checkered skirt. Then, in what feels like an instant, neck tats and flannel shirt busts in through the door, pushes Mr. Movie Blood off the stool, and his head bounces off the tile floor. The guy across the bar top mouths, "Fuck." Actress hopeful is up and she's screaming. The Weekend continues blaring through the speakers. Mr. Movie Blood sits up, wipes the back of his head, and his hand comes back smeared red. But it's too dark. It's a little too runny. The viscosity is off. I turn back around. Nothing is ever like the movies. Maybe I'll read one or two more, and then I'll open it up to any encores from people. This was one I really dug up some old pieces, so if they suck, I'm sorry. At least it's free. This is an old one too. It's called Huevos. Yeah. In my God. When it's their turn to read, they pause before words like yearning, perennial, acquainted. Who talks like this? This Robert Frost guy didn't do nothing but watch shit happen. So the teacher pulls out Dylan Thomas, a tough guy like y'all, she says, in private school cadence, and the boys mostly snicker. This Dylan guy didn't do nothing but drink, they say, none of them old enough to buy alcohol. One day we have a substitute, and he says, Poetry is supposed to make you feel like you have the world by the balls. And for a second, there's silence before my friend Jose blurts out, if I have the world by the huevos, can I at least jerk it off a little? Thank you. All right. So this one is about I feel like one of the worst things that's happened in recent years is like people really like living their lives on social media and like basing their opinions around, sound bites and what people will say on social media. And I think another side effect of that, I have younger siblings, has been like the my attention span's been getting worse too, and I never had a great attention span to start with. So I was like, I wrote this while, with the TV on and a record playing and eating. But I was like, why don't I just write a poem about it? So this one it's a poem about ADD. It's called The Elephant is Sprinting Through the Room and the Cranes Are Everywhere and I Am Hyperfixating on Invisibility. Picture this. I'm sitting on a windowsill back to another forgettable summer, tapping my foot against the wood, tap, 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 full of bread and gin and 22. Picture the director. Fleece button-down brown loafers, very Vermont chic. He has a sudden heart attack. The thud is heard on the set, but the camera keeps rolling. Picture the heroine. Blue-eyed fan favorite, she's staring at me, her eyes pleading, say the right line, please. just say the goddamn right line. She is beautiful and she means well, but I am still learning to be a person, still learning the best way to assemble an apology, still learning how to smile at the audience. Can we please turn the cameras off? I just need a minute. Thank you. All right. I think, does anybody want to have an encore? Anyone want to come up here again? Maybe shop some work, try something new. All right, yeah, let's make it happen.
All right, Tamika, are you ready? You don't have to be. It's up to you.
I was trying to find what poem to read, so I'm just gonna go with where it lands. So, um, this poem that I'm about to read, I remember like my therapist giving me a topic to write on, and she said, I want you to write on magic. And so I didn't know like where to go with that or like how, like what to say, but this is what I came up with. It's called Magic is Real. A little girl excitedly tells her mom about magic and fairy tales. Magic isn't real, the mom yells. It is real, the little girl says as she starts to cry. An older woman hears everything as she's walking by. Shocked, she stops dead in her tracks. She turns to the mom and says, Magic is real. I know this for a fact. If you look, you'll see where magic can be found. You'll see that there is magic all around. Magic is kindness. It can change how you or others may feel. That is one of the reasons magic is so real. Magic is hope, believing in the impossible, believing that the impossible is possible. Magic is courage, facing your fears to become unstoppable. Magic is strength, fighting to push and make it through. You see, magic isn't about disappearing or making one thing turn into two. Magic is faith, a belief that's unshakable. Magic is respect, being considerate of other people. Magic is change, letting go and embracing things in a new way. Magic is honesty, having integrity in what you do or say. Magic is peace, feeling love, contentment, and tranquility. Looking at the little girl, she says magic is real because it lives in you and in me. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna experiment right now because I think I figured it out. Hold on, because I've been freezing. Thank you, Tamika. All right, let's see here. You can't see me yet. Okay, I'm not frozen. Now I appear and I'm not frozen. See? So before I introduce the next speaker, and Tamika, thank you very much. Your work is awesome. And I hope you show up all the time. Like next month on February 28th, by the way, in order to find out how that is. Look on your screen right now to connect with us because of course you have to, and you can't learn all the things because otherwise I don't post on social media. However, I am getting into the process of posting more, but it's just the same thing, just more. And I don't get it. All my students use TikTok, and I don't understand how it works because I don't really understand how Twitter works because when I have a thought in my brain, it stays there instead of, going online. But anyway, connect with us, support us. Ian could use the money. maybe. Oh, hey, this is just a thought. Don't. Okay, no one listen. Don't do it. Ian. No, I'm just kidding. So let me put myself back. If it works and I'm not frozen, that means it works. Control 1. That is my. Oh no, wait. Yeah, that is my code. Yes, I'm alive. All right, Tamika, you're still there. So it's basically like you and I are chatting with each other. That's kind of cool. Anyways, I'm going to go back to the studio. Oh, hey, look, there you are too. You can see yourself. All right. So apparently, while we've been doing this, I've been trying to kind of diagnose why I keep freezing and the audio stuff. Normally, I think what happens is my process is I turn on the mixer first. Then I turn on the streaming software that we have, and then Zoom. I think that's my order. I've never really thought about it. But right now I'm thinking that sometimes if Zoom was on first or the mixer was on second or not first, then Zoom is trying to compete with the other software because it keeps shifting the microphone and me, which is we have three microphones, 3 cameras. It's really weird, but I think it's working. It might happen more. It's kind of I don't know. It's weird learning experience. My friend Brian, if he's watching and will watch, it's his job, and he abandoned me to Minnesota. But, you know, so I'm going to make sure he hears this one day. And he'll be like, oh, my gosh, I abandoned him. But anyways, our next speaker, and I'm going to introduce this because they texted me. I don't think that – did they tell you? No, I see, yeah. So I'm going to call him out because they texted me in secret, in private. You're over there? I see you. Our next speaker I've known for like 20 years because, Jesus, we're so old now. And it's awful. But they have never read ever here. Elvia, have you read ever anywhere? No, I haven't. Never anywhere ever. So today is the first reading ever, which is I think is really cool because I remember my first reading in 2023. I was shaking. I was crying. I read this poem. I memorized it. It was my performance. It was basically the day like I arrived. And so I hope always that people, if they read first, I hope Ian had a great experience. Emery had a great experience. Some people come up and they show up. And I don't ever want someone to say, I read at Nervous Ghost Press's open mic and I'll never do it again. I want them to read and say, I'm going to do that next time. I'm going to read. I'm going to write. This is my art. This is my life. This is my soul. This is my voice. This is who I am. This is what gives me strength, power, and it's what gets us through, right? And to me, our writing is what gets us through life. It's what gives us strength, and it gives us kind of a sense of who we are and where we're going and what we do. And so please, everybody, welcome my very, 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 very good friend, Elvia.
I don't know if I'm going to regret. Hope I don't, but. Okay. Yeah, so this is my first time reading. I think I was inspired by Tamika. She mentioned how nervous she was, and I'm just like, Tamika's pouring it all out there, and so I want to kind of thank you for that if you're still on. Also, it's been about 5 years. Someone that was once very important and dear to me passed away. And it was about 5 years ago on Monday, and I kind of figured it would be a good way to kind of break into it and lose that fear. And it's the Lunar New Year is upon us, right? The year of the snake, shedding, all those things. So I wanted to make sure that I just went for it. So this poem is actually a fragment of poems or thoughts that I had when I found out that they had passed away, and even though we weren't close anymore. Because of the huge impact they had in my life, I wanted to kind of memorialize them in some way. So it's separated into different small little poems. You lay in eternal slumber, it all seems so somber. You'll never see your children, they'll never have their father. Only the stars know what you meant to me, as they would guide us into the night. Many moons ago, we would travel the mountains and find pleasure under their light. Only the grass bed remembers the ember in our hearts, filled with so much passion as we rolled around making art. Only the night recalls those escapades when you would pick me up at home. We would stay out until dusk and let our souls roam. Your kisses echo in my memories, although my heart has grown distant. It seems so long ago since we were there, but I can feel it all in this instant. As the tears slide down your cheeks, the salt of your skin reminds me of the wounds we left unhealed. I was thinking about you, but I found you with the candles. Hola, cariño. No scent or description for the smell, but I knew it was you saying hello. The scent was floral and sunny, like the days we used to spend together. And when I thought I had forgotten, I found you again, tucked away towards the back of the shelf. Hola, cariño, you said again. This time reminding me that as much as I want to tuck you away into the folds of my memory, I can't. This time reminding me that even though you're gone, you'll always be a part of me. Beethoven, Chopin, what do they know? Playing in the background. The soundtrack to my sorrow, the curves of the road. I don't remember what it was like to love you, but the feeling remains. Thank you.
Thank you, Elvia. So something just very quickly before I give it back to Trucker Sushi. Something I'm so very adamant about is that art gives us a reason to do whatever we want, and that it makes the ugly and the scary parts of our life manageable. So yesterday was my brother's birthday, and in 10 days is the anniversary of his death, and I'm with all my people and with my friends here. Elvia's here and everybody, and writing gives us a means of getting that shit out of our chests, of getting it out of our head where it just festers and turns into muck and grime. And we can manipulate a paper, we can manipulate our words, we can create beautiful pieces, we can paint, we can do all of these things, and it allows us to be vulnerable in a way that isn't dangerous. Whereas in real life, you post some shit online and people start, cussing you out, saying, fuck you then, bro. But these spaces, and I hope that everybody here and online and when you watch it and when in the future, wherever you are, you understand that your art, your voice, your life is yours. And you can say whatever you want. And at least in our spaces, if someone says something terrible, guess what? Fuck them, right? I say it all the time. And if Trucker Sushi comes up here and he says something, then guess what? Fuck you too. But not you, because you're on camera right now, because that's terrible. And then I don't want to get people angry. But all of us here at Nervous Ghost Press, Ian, Asia, Rachel, everybody, Elvia's sister, whose name I remember, but I'm not going to say because I don't have to prove myself. But Emery, everybody else, we are a community. We're a family. We could disagree on so many things, but we agree on one very important thing, and that is that our art, our life, our souls, our hearts are one, and we're connected, and no matter what, we're human, and we live, and we breathe, we die, and we hurt, and we love together. And so I'm going to open up the first question from someone from YouTube, and then we can have a discussion. I love the discussions. We don't have them often anymore, but they're really cool. So Tamika, if you want to jump in on any questions, or if you have any questions for anybody, they're awesome. And I won't ask too many. Usually I do, but I won't. So Trucker Sushi, you're going to be the engineer and the architect here. But one question is for Ian, and this person texted me, and I'm like, don't text me now. I'm just kidding. But it's, so they love your poem about friendship, and they ask Ian a question, and anybody can jump in afterwards. What are some ways that you show up for your friends? No, hold on. I'm trying to read it and talk at the same time. What are some ways that you show up to your friends to show that you treasure them? So to expand it to everybody, what are ways that you show up to your community, to your people? What are ways that you express yourself to say, hey, I'm here, I appreciate you? And so, Ian, if you want to jump in, anybody, Trucker Sushi, you can jump in. And I think it'll be a great start to our discussion. And I'm going to disappear for a while.
All right. Thank you for the question, mystery person on YouTube. That's actually something I really think about a lot, and I get frustrated with, I think I read somewhere once that the average friendship is like 7 years long, and then people just sort of fall into distance, or they don't stay connected anymore for whatever reason, and it seems like people are like okay with letting that happen. I have actively fought against that like my entire life, where now that this is, maybe the fourth place I've lived, there's these moments through the years where I have this new family here, I have this new group of friends here, and it feels, I don't know if it's fated or what, but there's a reason why you connected with people in different aspects of your life. And even maybe you're not going to be wonderful friends with them the rest of your life. I still feel the purpose there. I want to bring them with me as much as I possibly can. So while other people will like let friendships fall to the wayside, I'm the one like dragging the rope for years trying to keep people connected. So I would say how I actively do it is certain things I try to make like custom birthday cards for people. I've definitely since COVID have used group chats to like the maximum ability, where there are certain groups that I force into one, to like all the Colorado friends, all the Connecticut friends, that sort of thing, music friends, shared playlists to bond over music, and just making sure that we are forcing connection on a regular basis so that we all feel each other's presence throughout the years. So those are probably the things that I do most. And then an uncle of mine passed away recently, and he was described at his wake as being like a magnet for the family, where he would be the one forcing hangouts and gatherings and that sort of thing. And that's also, I felt kindred to him in that regard, where whenever I'm traveling, I will, this is the day we're all getting together. This is the day this group of friends is getting together. You're all coming out. Like, this is the only time I'm going to be here for 6 months. So I think it's just being like forceful, because a lot of people are stay with constant engagement. So that's what I would say. And while I'm at the microphone, I'm trying to remember all these little tidbits that there's something comes to mind every time somebody's talking. So, Elvia, we share the experience where the first poem I ever read was about loss. It was at the bar, and I also teared up in my first ever time doing this. So like I really felt and appreciated that, because that's so tough, and it can feel strange when there's so many themes that other people touch on in their poems when you're bringing loss to the table. So I loved it. Thank you for sharing that. Also, Julia, the impact from what you're reading today, it brought forward like the utilization of volume and like sound effects and everything. It like cuts through everything, and it makes people pay attention. So that's something that I want to like absorb into future times where I'm writing. So thank you for showing a bit of your approach there. Obviously, every time you play, I feel like I know more about your influences. So I love every single time you bring a different song that's impactful to you. And then what did I want to mention? The Jason Voorhees piece. Now, I think I mentioned this to you before. This is the second time I think I've heard it, and I love that piece. So I'm so happy that I got to hear it again. And also just your mention of Dylan Thomas. You talked earlier about, or something came up about the poem from your class that sort of brought poetry into the forefront of your mind. And I feel like that would be a great theme for hosting one of these nights. So maybe I'll do that in the future. But for me, it was this book from Khalil Gibran called The Prophet, but then also a friend of mine who was openly into poetry, and I never connected to it. It was Dylan Thomas, and that was one of his favorite pieces, and he also has passed away, but it always makes me think back to him whenever Dylan Thomas is referenced. So thank you for bringing that up tonight, and thank you all for presenting.
Does anybody want to chime in? Anyone else? About friendship.
I think you should show the cool artwork that was made today to the camera.
You want me to turn the camera around?
Yeah, I think that's fine. You can just talk. Or you could also show the painting on the table.
Ooh.
Before you talk about your stuff.
I didn't make this. This was Hope's doing, but
Do a close up to the camera.
oh yeah.
Wait, but it's the square one. Yeah, there we go.
That is one nervous ghost right there. He's doing his best. That's my bar. If I throw up, the public showing is a failure. Yeah, but we're gonna. So this is all my photography. I'm a street photographer, and it's called A California Dream Color Graded, and it's, I touched a little bit about on this in my work, but before I came to LA, all I knew about it was the entertainment industry in Hollywood, and I thought, I was gonna come here and everybody was gonna have Botox and be talking about, the star they saw on the street. And then I actually came here and I realized, there's so many, and I've lived in a lot of places, but here people live so many different kinds of lives, and so many of them have nothing to do with the entertainment industry. I talked about, there's a piece here, y'all online can't see it, but it's two parents, saying goodbye to their college kid who's driving off. There's a picture here of a migrant, who was working, took his lunch break in his truck with his daughter. There's a lowrider. There's over here. There's a restaurant out. One of my favorite restaurants out in the desert, Spaghetti Western. There's life on the beach, and there's so many different identities here. There's so many things that lead people to California. So that's kind of what I wanted to touch on with the photography. So we're tentatively having our opening on Valentine's Day, and I am planning to hopefully do a reading. So if you guys want to follow me, my Instagram is Trucker Sushi. It's hard to confuse you. Thank you, Matt. All these pictures are up there on my Instagram, but they're also up there with flash fiction. So I write a lot of fiction, and for my initial interest in photography was as inspiration for fiction pieces. So all my photos are up there. They're up there with fiction I've written. And on Valentine's Day, bring your partners. We'll have a showing. I'll talk about some of the art, and then I will do a small reading of some of my work as well. So hopefully it'll be a good time. But yeah, it's about, maybe we'll randomize them, have some fun. Yeah, thank you everybody for showing up. It's so wonderful, hearing everybody's work and what it means to them. And thank you so much for your first time reading. That kicked ass. It reminded me of this. It's the second time I'm bringing up Eli Kaminsky today. But if you actually buy a copy of his book, Dancing in Odessa, the first line says, "I write poetry for the people who can't, because my silence would be the white flag of their surrender." And so I think we all write poetry for somebody. Sometimes that person is ourselves, but it's I think the best way to put how we feel out in the world. So thank y'all for showing up, and hopefully I'll see y'all on Valentine's Day or at another one of these. And thank you to Matt for hosting this for the community.
Definitely. Thank you, everybody, for being here online. Thank you for always being part of our Nervous Ghost Press family, whether you're nervous or not, although I prefer you are, because then we're not nervous alone. And one of the worst parts about being nervous is being the only one, right? No, I'm just kidding. We're all nervous together. And so next time it will be the 28th of February for our Arts Night and open mic, and as Trucker Sushi said, around Valentine's Day. So a great dates night is our romantic evening with art. And I don't know what's better than that. We got wine and stuff, and pizza, and crackers, and hot chocolate, and paint. And you can paint yourself something that you'll remember forever. So imagine, Trucker Sushi, when you're looking at the painting you made on Valentine's Day, and you're like, don't yell at me. Remember the painting we made on Valentine's Day? So please, everybody, be happy, be healthy, be warm, engage in art, talk to your friends, be part of the community. Email me anytime, 24/7. Show up to our events. Come out on Valentine's Day. Come out after that, and every last Saturday. I want to have more events, of course. So everyone, Tamika included, if you want to have your personal reading where it's all about you, you just let me know and we will make it happen. I'll make a sick ass flyer like this one I made for Trucker Sushi today. Wait, here it is. Sorry. Boom, look at that. You send me a cool photo, make a cool poster. I'm not going to print them. I mean, we could print them, but black and white, they kind of look funky. But we'll do that. And as always, stay connected with us. Enjoy your time together. Always, 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 always engage in supporting the arts. And we're here for you no matter what. See you next time.